Grand Prix, round 16, the penultimate race of the season, and a brand new circuit for FF1M, the Fuji Speedway, with one of the longest front straights in FF1M. As it's a brand new circuit, there have been no previous results, so this is an absolute level playing field for the teams and drivers. In Q1, Andy Racing and AJ make it through into the race. That's AJ's first race since the Nürburgring. No doubt thanks to Kovalainen and PK, AJ's brand new lineup. At the expense, the teams that did not qualify were Pedersen, SF1 and X-Elite. So this is on board the most unluckiest driver of the last race, Singapore, Hamilton. Engine blew up whilst more than a minute ahead of everybody else. So that was the fast turn 2, turn 3, and there's the very long right-hander. Braking for a left-hand corner. And now onto the back straight effectively, into a very tight chicane. Tight right, then a left, and now accelerating onto the right as Hamilton goes past the second sector point. He's actually the first driver on a qualifying lap, as he rounds a very twisty, very awkward final sector. Gotta be honest, I'm not really a fan of that. This is too slow and technical really, as they go on to the very long main straight, and Hamilton does a 1 minute 14.5. We'll have to see how the other drivers will compare against that. Certainly Webber 2.5 seconds slower. And here's Glock entering MRD's penultimate race of their career, as Glock goes 2.1 seconds behind. Clean 2.2 seconds behind. E-Racing have struggled with an underpowered engine recently in qualifying particularly, and as a result they've been qualifying quite low down, but so have Tornado, and as Pantano proved when he started 16th on the grid at Singapore, he stormed through to win, take a brilliant maiden win. Rosberg goes second, but 1.7 seconds behind Hamilton. Here's Tony Eliuzzi. Reaching just 200 miles an hour there. Oh, and there was contact there with the Tornado. That was unusual. Here's Sebastian Vettel rounding off the final corner. He has to wait some 13 odd seconds before the finish line. Seems like an age. And he goes second, 1.1 seconds behind Hamilton. And here's the Singapore race winner Pantano, qualifying 5th with that effort, nearly 2 seconds down on Lewis. I wonder where Lewis has got that turn of speed from. He's just on fire. There was a test session prior to this race at the Okayama circuit with Jenson Button and Kimi Raikkonen, I believe, topping the timesheets. I do emphasise on, I believe it was those two drivers. And anyway, here's De La Rosa going 2.3 down. It's 12th. On board with an AJ for the first time since Nürburgring. Difficult to see the helmet, but it is Kovalainen, and look at the top speed that AJ has got. It's 206 miles an hour. It's just short of Gené's top speed. Meanwhile, Nico Rosberg, with the help of Shannon Slipstream, he can improve on his lap time. Well, it looked like he did, but he's still 1.6 seconds down. And now the Shannon came back at him then. Here's Christian Albers for Andy Racing. And he goes 12th. It's a good effort from the Andy Racing. And here's Nelson PK. Junior, that is. Son of Nelson PK Senior. In fact, those two were once teammates in the Masters era of 1991. They both raced for Guy Racing at that point, and Hamilton goes even quicker. Betters his own effort by 1/10 of a second. And Sebastian Vettel is going to try and displace him off the top. The championship situation here is 14 points. Vettel just needs to finish ahead of Hamilton to win the championship, and Hamilton needs to win or score 2 more points than Sebastian. Sector 1, he's 2/10 down already. Not showing an improvement on his own time either. So he really is going to have to pull something out of the bag if he is going to beat Hamilton for pole position. Of course, there is still 40 minutes to go in this session, but the drivers like to set their times as early as possible. Seems to be a pattern. Vettel improves on his own time, but he's still 7/10 pretty much down on Hamilton. And Vettel is onto the front straight. It will be a 67 lap race at this circuit.
First row, well done.
And that was the team telling me he's on the front row. Well done, but still over a second behind Hamilton, and Klein goes 12th. Rosberg, we saw improving his lap time and 3rd on the grid. Here's Kimi Raikkonen rounding the final corner, showing improvement on his times. Crossing the line he goes, 4th. Good effort from Raikkonen. And his speed's 202 miles an hour, so more powerful than the Renault in the Shannon. So Honda have definitely got more powerful. Pantano doing 206 miles an hour. In fact, Liuzzi's gone 211 miles an hour. Surely that must have been slipstream aided. Buemi rounding the final corners. And he's showing some improvements on his own sector times. It's been a pretty difficult season for Buemi. In his last race, Monza, his engine blew up. But this is looking like a good lap time. Crossing the line, he goes 5th. Fantastic effort from Sebastian Buemi. And Ralf Schumacher goes 6th. Former world champion Ralf in his penultimate race in his career. Zonta only goes 12th. He's also retiring at the end of the year. And Mark Webber only 20th. Here's Vettel's teammate. And he's showing some improvements as well. What can he do on this lap? That looked like 15th. So, compared to his teammate, pretty poor. His teammate Vettel 2nd on the grid, but over a second behind Hamilton. We haven't seen the gap that big really since Rosberg's pole position in Australia. The man in question is 3rd for FJR, entering his penultimate race for FJR. Raikkonen 4th, Buemi and Ralf Schumacher and Kovalainen. Great efforts from those three. Round the top 10, Liuzzi, Pantano and De La Rosa. Not doing so well, Guy Racing down in 13th and 16th. Nelson PK in his first official qualifying session, beating some big names such as Albers, Wirtz and Webber. So, the lights went out pretty quickly there, and it looks like Hamilton's got a good start. Down into the first corner, and Vettel's going to outbrake Lewis. No, ooh, it was close there. And there's a traffic jam behind, he's got some brake locking, but it looks like everybody's through safely. Now, who's made good starts? Liuzzi's made a good start from 8th on the grid to move up to 5th. I think Hamilton's pulling away already. And Vettel be coming under some slight pressure from Rosberg, who is pulled away from Raikkonen, it seems. Antono's made a good start from 9th on the grid to move up to 7th, and Della Rosa also from 10th up to 8th. So it looks like Kovalainen's made a poor start from 7th on the grid, as has Ralf Schumacher from 6th on the grid, but at the moment it's Lewis Hamilton that is pulling away from Vettel. End of lap 1, out of 67. Again, it seems like an age before the line comes up, but Hamilton definitely leads, and there we've got Pantano making a move on. In fact, that's defending from. In fact, he's just got past Buemi, and there's Kovalainen dropping from 7th to 11th, and Liuzzi looking at Raikkonen for 4th place, going around the outside into the chicane, but no, he can't do that move. Now Liuzzi has to be careful because he's got Pantano right behind him. In fact, there it is. Pantano steams past on the front straight. That Mercedes is much better than the Renault. I know, I'd half expect Pantano to steam past Raikkonen as well. In fact, there he is doing it in the inside into the tight chicane, but no, not quite. There's a big queue forming behind Kimi Raikkonen. Meanwhile, Hamilton is 2.7 ahead of Vettel as they're about to start lap 4. Vettel is 2.5 seconds ahead of Rosberg as well. The question is though, the BMW engine in the back of Hamilton and Rosberg, can they last the distance? Because they've been pretty fragile, especially on Rosberg's car. Hamilton pulled out a second ahead of Vettel, and nearly 2 on Rosberg. Hamilton is pulling away, just like he did at Singapore. And Pantano's took Raikkonen for 4th. And now Buemi's going to do the same to Kimi. Mitchell's running the Ferrari engine, and they look like the better engine than the Honda. But Raikkonen coming back at Buemi then. And in the background, Klein has just took 8th place from, it looked like, I'm not sure who that was, but I'll try and get more information on that one. But Buemi's just retook Raikkonen for 6th. Good scrap between those two. And here is Klein about to take the position from Raikkonen. Toyota versus Honda, this is the battle between Japanese engines. And Raikkonen looks like he's going to come back in this slipstream. And look at Heikki Kovalainen taking the dodgem of Ralf Schumacher for 9th. AJs are going well here. Kovalainen also fresh from his FF1M experience. Can he close in on Kimi? He is closing on Raikkonen. This is a great effort from the AJ team. We're on board with him now. The AJ is a very powerful engine as well. AJs make their own engine. Still on board with Kovalainen, who shuts the door. He slipstream past Raikkonen. And Zonta's engine's gone. That's a BMW that's blown up. As he pulls off the track. So already BMW showing some signs of fragility at this Fuji circuit. And there's another engine, it's Ralf Schumacher. The Ferrari too hot to handle. Still battling with the Shannon there. And that's Kovalainen's engine's gone. So it looks like it's an engine breaker of a circuit. That's a shame for Kovalainen, he's going so well. Where will the next engine failure come from? As Raikkonen retakes that position from Kovalainen. So that moves both Guy Racings into the points now. Klein and Kubica 7th and 8th. As we see a Shannon going side by side with an MRD. It's Button and Glock. As Liutz is up in 5th place. And Raikkonen is a bit further up from the battling duo. This is a Guy Racing and that's Klein and Buemi for 6th place. And Rosberg just pits there from 3rd place. That's pretty much 1/3 distance, so it's going to be a 2-stop strategy for Nico. Pantano in on lap 26 or 27, so it's a late 2-stop for him. Into blue mechanics that would seemingly be more suited for FJR or Guy Racing rather than the green of Tornado. Exiting the pits in 8.9 seconds. We didn't see the time on Nico Rosberg's stop, but has Pantano done some good in-laps to jump Nico for position? And the answer looks to be yes. Pantano has jumped. He's ahead of Bourdais, so he's ahead of Rosberg as well. Rosberg's got Mark Webber behind as well. And, well, I said that Pantano had just got ahead of Rosberg. He's now lost that. It's smoking a bit, but it doesn't look like an engine problem. And it's a puncture. And that's another engine gone. It's Buemi. A massive shame for him. He was running so well as well. It's an oil leak that's set fire. And another one. It's Jenson Button. Now, he was having a terrible race anyway, so it doesn't really matter for him. Only British pride has been hurt. Jenson Button off the Tornado soon. And another retirement, it's Sebastian Bourdais. So both Dodgems suffering reliability issues. It's a puncture for Bourdais, so it's more tyres. And another one, it's Vert, so both Mitchells out of the race. And I think it's safe to say that Lewis Hamilton has dominated this race. The championship battle still lives on as the Hamilton takes a convincing win from Vettel and Rosberg. Finally, Rosberg gets a finish. Both Guy Racing's 4th and 5th. Legendary reliability paying good dividends there. Liuzzi 6th, Webber 7th. De La Rosa gets points for shake and bake. Meanwhile, the gap is 10 points between Vettel and Hamilton. It's still alive. Kubica looking a bit more safe in 3rd place, but Pantano still has a shot. But Dark Wolf are officially the World Constructors' Championships. They now cannot be overhauled. Guy Racing 2nd. Has to be careful about shake and bake behind. So we'll now see you at the final race at Interlagos in Brazil.